we pay money to assist this school, and on top of it we get this bracket of fees that are roughly $400 each semester and going up every year. This year it was $429, and we don't really know what that's all about. So the question is, student fees, where are they going, and how does one find information about those fees? Let me give you a quick example. This is just a little analogy of what's happening at this university. So you go to your favorite fast food restaurant, and you pull through the drive-thru, and you order your usual meal. And the lady says, okay, that will be so much money, you know, you're used to that. And we're also going to tack on $4.29 as a fee. You're probably not going to let that just slide. You'll ask, what is that fee for? And would you be satisfied when she answers, it's for the good stuff we do for you? No, you're not going to be satisfied. What kind of good stuff? And this is to the point that our university has reached. The good stuff like our services and the stuff we give you and our food things. Okay, that's your total. Come to the next window. This is literally what's happening. We are getting fooled into paying stuff that we don't know about. In this example, I'm not trying to say that the fees should disappear, because we understand that it's necessary to have money to run a university. All we're trying to say is we need to know where those fees are so that we can benefit most from them. I don't know what your guys' experience was, but Heather and Eric went on a little adventure, a little goose chase, to try to find out exactly where this money is going. Let me just explain. First off, obviously we would check the internet, where all answers are. After fumbling through the internet, we found a complete lack of information. We could not find a breakdown of student fees. So they ran off on foot to the registrar's office, who showed them the vague breakdown of where our money goes. I'll show you that in just a second. But that's not what we were looking for. All they did was tell us the special things like we give you food things and service things. That's not what we're talking about. We want to know where this is going. So they sent them to the counseling center, and from the counseling center they sent them to the Student Services Administration, where they talked to the vice president, who had no idea what to tell them. This is upsetting. Let me tell you why this is important to students. Because generally, I don't have $400 fall out of my pocket and not recognize it. This has been an issue for decades, ladies and gentlemen. We found it through the USU legislation. There are multiple bills and mandates that have been changed and put into place from, honestly, the 60s until now to try to fix this problem, to try to remedy what our students are going through. If you want to find more information about the USU legislation, there's the internet site there below. But this is a recurring issue. And most of the bills that have been brought up kind of get fought for a little bit, and the school says, okay, we'll do something, and then it just kind of gets put on a shelf and forgotten. And this is what we're going through, and we keep passing through it time and time again. This is what our current fee breakdown looks like. And honestly, it gives a lot of information if you take a minute to look at it. You have your fee totals for the credit hours that you're taking. So I'm taking 16 credit hours, and I'm paying $412, and it's broken down into each of these sections. But what do I get from each of these sections is the question. Let's focus for 1 second on campus recreation. We already talked about it for a second, but it's a good place to start. How much are we paying? $24.68 if you're a full-time student. The problem is we don't know how much money is going to each thing. Like the surprise $20 that arrives for you at the ORP that nobody manages to tell us about that we're supposed to use because the school's being so nice and generous to us. If we knew about this, we could have the capacity to use it. The problem is pretty simple to fix. It can be fixed by simply putting a link on the USU's main page of their website that leads to an interactive page that shows the same layout as the current tuition breakdown, fee breakdown, but each number will have an interactive link that will show the dollar amount of where the money in that specific category is being utilized. Let's break that down into easier categories. Why do we want it on the main page? Because the public accessibility of this information right now is terrible. You have to find it through the registrar's office, either online in their department or in person at their department. It's nowhere general for everyone to see. You literally have to try really hard to find it to be able to get it. The second part of it is the detailed breakdown. Let me explain really quick what I'm talking about. What I want to do is click on 16 credit hours, total fee $412, and in the activity fee, I'm paying $33.53. I should be able to click on that button, have a window open up that tells me dollar amounts of where that money is going. Because I literally do not know where my money is going in that account. Each department supposedly has their personal breakdown, like the ORC, except for we found out the athletics committee just bulks it into one big thing and uses it as they want, which is seriously not okay. But this is not something that is just rightfully ours. It's lawfully ours, ladies and gentlemen. It is a federal bill that public and state information should be available to the public. And in 1992, they passed a bill called the Government Records Access and Management Act, which says that all public documents for universities and other government facilities have to be public and available to all those who it affects. So let me just quickly explain one more time what we're trying to do here. The problem is we don't know where the money is. All we need to do is put a link on the USU's main page of the website that leads to an interactive page that shows the same layout as the current tuition and fee breakdown, but each number will have an interactive link that will show the dollar amount of where the money in that specific category is being utilized. All we're trying to do is get the most out of our university experience, get the most bang for our buck. And by doing this, our students will be happier, will be much more thankful for the things that school offers to us, and we'll have a greater experience here at Utah State University. Thanks.
So what, by having it more public accessible, like what are you hoping to gain by that? Like what's the...
The only thing we're trying to gain is a public awareness of where money goes. I'm not trying to say that we need to reduce fees, but I would like to know where that money specifically goes so that I will be capable of using it. Does that make sense?
Okay, I thought you were trying to reduce fees. I thought that's that, like by putting it more public, maybe they'd reduce fees or something.
That might be a future happenstance, but that is not what we're currently trying to do. We understand that a university is expensive and there are fees necessary.
Okay.
Who's your audience? Who do you have to talk
Our audience is, I was going to explain that right at the beginning. Our audience is the ASUSU because they are the government body here at the university who has the capacity of changing this. It just needs to be put in straightforward and this simply so that they can express all this information in an easy way for all of our students to benefit from it.
Is this really helpful? Do you think you have something different from all the bills that have been proposed from the 1960s that would get this through when it hasn't happened before? Like you said, they keep saying, oh yeah, we'll do something and we don't. Is there a reason why they might do it now?
The past proposals present the problem, but they do not give a specific proposal to fix the problem. This is something very simple that they could simply assign to a graduate student in computer science to work out. The breakdowns exist, the fee and tuition breakdown already is made. All they'd have to do is scan it in, make it interactive, and have the links to the pages that already exist.
What's my call to action or our call to action? Like, what are we supposed to do as students?
Well, you are a ASUSU student government person because you are my audience. All that needs to happen is for those people to back this proposal. It needs to be presented by the people who have the authority to make a change. Does that make sense?
So what are we gonna do about the athletics? Because like you stated, the athletics just kind of have a lump sum that they put wherever they need to put it. Are we going to call them and like call them out and say, hey, like this needs to stop, I need to know where each of this is going, or is it still going to continue to be like a lump sum?
I think that would be something that's brought up as this is being made. As they're making it, they'll realize, it'll come to public knowledge that this is an issue. I don't know where any of my money goes. And then when there's extra money at the end of the year, just the random amount is paying for a new jumbotron. This is not okay. I didn't want a jumbotron. Does that make sense? So I think that will be brought up eventually, and that will be part of the athletics department, because technically they're going against the BRAMA Act, saying that we need to know exactly where that money is going, but that's not exactly what we're trying to hit. I'm sure it'll happen. You good?